Yeah.
Yay.
So we have one in person and everyone else is on Zoom. So I'm really happy to see you today and glad that you joined. So as Ashley said, I'm here just to kind of introduce myself a little bit if I haven't met you yet. And I was hoping that we could talk a little bit about what's happening in your classroom and maybe some things that you need or some things that you want to discuss before Ashley comes on and talks more about how the roles have changed in the last month or so. So, my name is Frances Legrand, but you can call me Franny, and I'm the new adult education coordinator. And this position is a little bit different than the position that Ruby had. So we'll talk more about that a little bit later. But the reason I'm here and the reason that I'm excited is that I am a teacher. I've been a teacher for about 20 years, believe it or not. It's just kind of surprising. I've been teaching English and yeah, I also taught some Latin, but I've been teaching English for about 20 years in the United States and also abroad. And I've worked in colleges, I've worked in corporate, I've worked in adult ed. My most recent experience was with refugee resettlement here in Houston or just north of us. So I'm really excited to help with classroom support, especially with kind of navigating the textbooks and finding ways that you can reach your students with different needs that they have. Especially with ESL and GED, those are and citizenship, those are things that I have some experience in. So I wanted to ask if there are any challenges that you're having right now that maybe we can talk about together. One of the requests I got this morning that I wanted to share with you was from someone teaching ESL on a lower level about more picture-based help for students that are at a low level. And I recommended the Oxford Picture Dictionary. Has anyone used this before? Yeah, this is a solid gold book and it's in the library and there are several of them. And this is a wonderful companion if you have especially very low level students. And just to show you a little bit about it, it's by topic and it's very life skill based. So you can go to this chapter is on childcare and parenting. And it shows not only some vocabulary with pictures, but also phrases that might be helpful for your students. There are some activities at the bottom of the page. It's a huge book, it has lots of topics, but there is also a workbook that goes with it that you can combine with the dictionary. So this is something that you can easily find in the library. I'll make sure it's available to you if you're interested. The other question I got today was about teacher's guides. So, raise your hand if you are using a teacher guide in your class. Two people, okay, couple people. So, where did you find your teacher guide?
Well, this is Pam. Um, I am using new curriculum, the Journey to Success this year,
Yes.
and I had gotten online. I don't know. I went to their website, I guess is where I found it, and it had something about out. It's an outline of the whole
Mhm.
course. And I think at one point there was nothing like that, but at this point there is, and it just lays out just very clear instructions if that's what you need. Very clear instructions about how to do each part of each lesson. It's helpful for me because then I can pace
Mhm.
better throughout the year. So
Excellent. Yeah, if you're using Journey to Success, the teacher's guides are online. And Ashley and I talked today about printing out those teacher's guides and putting them in binders so that you can grab it for to make it easier. If you are using Ventures, we do have some teacher's guides that are ringed like this. If you're interested in using one of these and you don't have one, let me know so that we can get one out to you. I think Pam made a really good point about how the teacher's guides, one of the best things they can do is help you to pace and kind of plan ahead and see how long different sections are going to take. I know that you've been there where you think an activity is going to take a half an hour and it's finished in 5 minutes. So it's nice to have those guides or even, even a peer that can help you know how long those activities are going to take. Any questions about teachers' guides, or does anyone think that they're not useful? So, if you've done it for a while, if you've worked with a book for a while, it's not uncommon to kind of stray away from the teacher's guide, and kind of go things on your own. But if you're brand new or if the book is new, that's a great way to get started. So we'll work on making those teacher's guides from Journey to Success available on paper. But we can also send you the links. I'm sure Pam can help too, of how you can access them from home, and plan that way. Any problems that you're having in the classroom that you'd like to? Hi.
Hey, hello. Quick question. So the teacher's guide, does this applicable to math instructor as well?
Mhm. Sorry, say it again.
So the teacher's guide,
Mhm.
so is this applicable to, math instructor as well? Or this is just
So
ED
what text
related?
are you using?
I think so I'm actually new, so I haven't started yet.
So
So,
I'm sure there is one. All we
okay.
need to do is find it.
Okay.
So I'll put a note there for the GED math.
Okay.
Yeah, is that what you're looking for?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Anyone else interested in looking for a teacher's guide or need help finding one? Okay, I can come sit over there with you, John.
Oh, I could put a chair out there. Should that be okay?
John wants to see all your faces.
Oh.
The voices of those.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to find a way to do this in a good way.
They'll actually see you.
Sure, sure. So how about this? Are there any other supplemental textbooks that you have used in your classes that might be helpful to some of your peers? So I mentioned the Oxford Picture Dictionary. Are there any others that you'd like to share?
I'm going to step in if I can.
Sure, Pam.
While we were all frozen in our homes over the last week, I was looking into Intercambio's website, and I found there a pronunciation book that it could be very fruitful, I think. So I tried it with my students this morning, coming fresh off of it, and they were quite excited because what it does is it compares two sounds that maybe are difficult to discern between, and it helps them practicing those sounds and kind of what it just does a really good job of what that mouth and the face is doing, and just kind of it was a good lesson. It also has QR code so you can go to videos, practice at home.
Cool.
So I think it's worthwhile. It's called Pronunciation Fun with Pictures. So you were talking about that picture thing. These
Mm-hmm.
pictures for everything they've got in there. So whatever it is, the word is, there's going to be a picture that matches that to kind of help. It would help with the lower levels.
Pronunciation fun with pictures.
Yes, by Intercambio.
So tell us more about Intercambio. What is it exactly?
I had heard about it. I'd gone to one of the All Texas conferences a few years back, and they were there. And I think I maybe even did a workshop with them. And they have actual ESL program. Then they have an immigration book that they have developed. And you can find Intercambio United something is what it's called on YouTube. So that some of the videos are available that way also. But they've got videos on their own website. Well, I got the book.
Oh, cool.
Here's can you all, it's not gonna show. There, maybe? No, maybe
Maybe
not.
closer to your face? There
There.
he is. There you see.
Oh, really cool.
That looks great.
Anyway, but it has a multi-level curriculum, the immigrant guide, and then this pronunciation fun with pictures. And it's kind of, I mean, it's exciting for me because that's just one area that I have found with ESL with the curriculum. Pronunciation is not necessarily directly taught. It's not a very strong area. So I was excited to try it out today. And I did. And they liked it. So
That's wonderful. Yeah, and I heard that Intercambio was created by a bunch of volunteer teachers in a program similar to ours. So
right.
the materials they put together are especially relevant for us.
Yeah. Ashley was excited to hear. She said, I loved them. So there's another vote. Vote of confidence.
On pronunciation, I got some good feedback this week from something we did, and it was a game used to practice minimal pairs that you were talking about there. And the ideas are from, I think his first name is Martin or Mark Hancock, and he wrote a really classic book, I guess, from the 90s, but it's still great, called Pronunciation Games. And he gave a talk recently that I sat in on. And I'll show you. I've actually got so I gave this to students this week. This is what one of my students liked. And if you can see it, so I asked them, I say, what is this a map of? And they all say Texas. And then what it shows is a grid, basically. And I don't know if you can see it, but it's got minimal pairs up top. So it's got like sheep, ship, eat, it along the top. And then it's got the minimal pairs like pool and pull and so on. And the game, this is the one that Martin Hancock came up with. He did it for the UK originally. I've adapted it here for Texas. And so you say, let's meet in. And if I was playing with a random student, I'd say, let's meet in, but I don't say Dallas. I do like a coordinate system. And I'd say, let's meet in whatever it is, ship, eat. And then I might repeat it. And then the student says, oh, you mean Fort Stockton? No. And then you can analyze what went wrong.
That's
fun. It's a lot of fun. And of course, it's got Texas names in here, so we can talk about Abilene. How do you pronounce that, and so on. So Martin Hancock, he's got some great ideas. He's got games. I haven't done it where you rap tunes, which I'm not really into. But if you're really out there, you can do things like that. He has a whole series of great pronunciation games, and students love them. So yeah, teaching pronunciation, you have to make it kind of fun for students. So I'm interested to look at the Intercambio thing as well there, Pam.
There's the other one that I have used before this Intercambio find was Clear Speech. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Oh, that's a great one.
And that one I had gone to workshop put on. I forget who was putting it on, but it was a professor. I can't remember if she was from Rice or U of H. I don't know, but she came in and talked about the fact that we need to incorporate more pronunciation lessons. So anyway.
Oh, thanks, Ruby. One thing that I did today in my ESL 4 class was about the pronunciation of ED, which is kind of a funny one because native speakers of English may not realize that there are 3 ways to pronounce ED. So we did, I had a little grammar, I added a little grammar in my class. So it was a little bit of grammar and a little bit of pronunciation using Azar. Does anyone ever use Betty Azar books?
But I've not used it.
Oh, really? So she has a classic series of grammar books that if you hear your students making the same mistake again and again, you might go and find that grammar piece, and I can help you find that material too. And luckily, this particular activity had it talked about spelling of ED and how to make those words, and then it also had pronunciation, but it had listening. So they had to listen to 3 words in the past tense and identify how the ED was being pronounced, and they were very surprised to learn that there were 3 ways to spell it. And the same thing goes with the final S. There's 3 ways to pronounce, 3 ways to pronounce the S ending, whether it's got an ES or not. That's another interesting kind of grammar and pronunciation connection. What about GED activities? So, Isaika, am I pronouncing your name correctly? Yeah, you're on mute, but I think you said
Isiaka, yeah, you tried.
Isaika. So, what kinds of supplementary websites do you think there are for GED?
I think there's a couple of them. I think I wrote them down in my notes. I think there's like two or three of them. Let's see, math, right? Again, see. Mm,
Not to put you on the spot. One of my one of my favorites is Khan Academy. Have you tried Khan Academy?
Khan Academy. Yeah. I mean, I have my kids do that most of the time, and I help them with that math. Yeah. So
Yeah.
is that part of the materials we can use as well for the
Absolutely.
assignment?
So,
Oh,
that's kind of part of your creativity is that
okay.
the textbook is your foundation, but you can add things to it, and that's where you can kind of customize your class depending on your students.
Right.
Sometimes the textbook does not cover what they need, or maybe they need more of something, and it's good to have some peers or some supplementary materials that you can add things to. I like Khan Academy because you're able to use video because most of our
Right.
textbooks are just paper based.
Hmm.
And if you're able to, add some images, especially for our young whippersnappers, they they all love video and audio. And remember, we have a screen, at least here at this campus, that you can use for those kinds of materials. But beyond that, Isaika, anything else?
Yeah, so my is actually gonna be on Zoom. So I haven't had a chance to
Easy.
talk to any existing instructors who use Zoom. So maybe if you can connect me with one of them, that would be
Sure.
good.
Yeah, and there's a lot of flexibility with Zoom too. Do we have any other Zoom teachers here? No. You can use things like whiteboard on Zoom in order to like you can write things on the board. Have you tried whiteboard before with Zoom?
No, I have
So
not.
that's something to look at maybe before you start, where you can actually, put some formulas on the board and practice that way. It makes it a little bit easier for you to show some of those equations.
Mhm.
We also have some small whiteboards that if you wanted to just do it like that, you can hold it up. That's sort of the analog
Okay.
way. But we do have there's a lot of flexibility with Zoom. You just have to be a little creative and try some of the little widgets that Zoom has.
If you're good at
Right.
things like PowerPoint, when I taught ESL on Zoom, I liked to use PowerPoint because I was very comfortable with that. And
Smart.
then I
Okay.
just displayed my whole screen. No, I think I just displayed the PowerPoint window,
Hmm.
and it was great because it was a touch screen, and I could write on my screen, and that way it
Okay.
saved everything, and I could send everything to the students afterwards, which was kind of nice with any
Okay.
comments and so on.
That's a great
There's
idea.
lots of options though, yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
That's good.
There are some tech things, devices that you can use with Zoom that's helpful too. Like you can use like a digital pen to draw things. If you need something like that, we can look into maybe I don't know how much money we have for that kind of thing, but there
Okay.
are some pretty inexpensive devices that you can use so that if you don't have a touch screen, you can use that pen to show what you're doing. We can look into that if you need it.
Okay. That sounds
Um,
great.
so, so I hope you'll see my face some more. I've been kind of hopping around the outreach locations and checking in on classes. And I hope that I can observe your classes and kind of learn more from you about how
Okay.
the system here works for everybody, not
Sure.
just Psycho, but but
Sure.
learn more about how everything works because I'm still pretty new. So if you see me in your class, it's because I'm curious and
Okay.
I want to learn more about what you're doing.
All right.
We might
I look
invite you
forward
to
to
join.
that.
We might invite you to join into whatever activity is happening, just warning you.
I would love that.
Okay.
I would love that. I would love that.
It would actually be nice to get feedback as well, because we don't often
Yeah.
get that as teachers, sort of impartial feedback. I'm sort of used to that from teacher training, but I kind of miss it. Because
Oh,
if you're a volunteer, you're always a hero, but it's nice for someone to look critically at it. And Brandon, you said you've got tons of ESL or teaching experience, so I'd appreciate that.
yeah.
Swing by and give feedback.
Thanks, John.
Yeah.
That's a nice invitation. Yeah, not everyone likes to hear feedback, but it is nice to hear, to get another opinion sometimes to give you a little help.
Right, right.
Yeah. So, what other issues are coming up in class that you'd like to talk about? Are you having any challenges with students or anything that we can help you with?
Oh, for me, I
Oh, from
haven't started.
everybody, from
Oh, I
everybody.
haven't, for me, I haven't started yet. So I just went in last week for my observation. So I'll probably start very soon.
Good. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
I think there's one thing, and it's equipment oriented.
Oh, okay.
The sharing the smart screen,
Yeah.
I think going to become I'm trying to incorporate, the little roll around
Yeah.
screen, right? Okay. New to me, but I'm trying to get to know it well and try to incorporate it. But there are others that are also using it. So I don't know if we're going to need a sign-up
Check
system
out.
or
Okay.
something to coordinate that.
Thank
So we're
you.
stepping on each other's toes.
That's a good idea. Anyone else? No?
I think maybe the classes are going really well for me just down the corridor here. It's always nice to have more students, but we're maybe limited with the room. Maybe the one issue was the announcement of the students and the just all the details about the course. So I got a note actually last week informing me about the class and the students who would be joining my class, but the class had already started.
Mhm.
And I first learned about my class at 5:30 on the day when I was not really sure I was going to be teaching or not. So I'd suggest that's a process improvement.
Yes,
That was not
absolutely.
correct.
Thanks,
Yes.
John. Yeah, and because we have rolling enrollment, if you haven't experienced this already, we're enrolling until the first week of March, and then we'll stop. So you may have students joining your classes. We also may move you to another room to make it bigger. But remember that you are allowed to give your limit. If you don't want a class that's too big, just tell us, and we won't add any more to your class. Ruby? I think you're mute.
There we go. Sorry, I was trying to find where I can unmute it on my cell phone. I'm not used to going on Zoom calls on my cell phone. But yes, as far as like accepting new students, my class has been pretty consistent. I have anywhere between 5 to I think 8 students that have been pretty consistent, but we do have space for more. So if you want to add more into my class,
Okay.
I think we're right at, in the units to where they won't feel too lost, right? And so I think it'd be great if you can just, direct some more folks over to mine.
Great. Thanks, Ruby.
Yeah.
Which class is that? Is it ESL?
Yes, and I'm at Second Mile, and it's level 1.
Got it. Thank you.
Mhm.
No. Any other issues that you'd like to bring up, challenges you're having? Well, something I'd like to talk about in again the first week of March is we are having a job and resource fair. So what we're going to try to do, it's a kind of a rough market out there, is on March 6th, we're having a fair that's going to be in the morning from 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock. And it is going to be an opportunity for students to hopefully meet some employers that are hiring at the entry level positions. So it's things like stocking, assembly could be a possibility, logistics. We're looking at some different low level positions around Fort Bend that don't require a lot of English. We're looking at some landscaping, but also with some of our partners like HEB. And working in the stock room, even some positions that are second shift or overnight, so that they can have some opportunities. During that fair, we're also going to have some resources that they may want to learn about. We've had some great presentations lately from WellBe Health, also Access Health have come. We have a group right now talking about mental health resources in the area. We're hoping to have the library to come in and kind of talk about what's available to them outside of the Literacy Council. Also, we're hoping to have some board members at the fair that will help with resume building and some practicing of job interviewing. So if you have some students that are simply interested in the culture of finding a job and going through the steps here in the States, they'll have an opportunity to practice that on the 6th of March. We're looking to have some raffle prizes. So perhaps I'll throw my Pam, I'll throw my fishing lure out there. If you're interested in donating something that could be raffled off, I mean, it doesn't have to be some luxurious item. I'm thinking of things like maybe you have a gift from the holidays that you didn't necessarily want. Maybe it's a beautiful candle, or maybe, something that you think might be a nice gift, a nice prize to raffle off. Let me know, because we'd love to kind of lure in the students a little bit by offering some raffle prizes. And if there's some other topics or resources that you think should be at the fair, please let me know, especially if you have a connection in Fort Bend that we can talk to directly and bring them in. You're the experts. I'd love some input from you as well. Any questions about the fair?
So, no, it's on. Is my audio on or not? It's on. Okay. So this is more, the employers will be there that may have entry-level positions. But the resume building, interviewing practice, that would kind of be workshops that would coincide. Okay.
That's the plan. So this is still in the early stages. So if you do talk about it with your students, please be very vague. Those are the plans that we have. Like I said, the job market is tough right now. I'm not getting the wave of responses that I would love. We're hoping to have a couple employers there. I think Second Mile is going to be there, Ruby, to talk about some of the work they do over there and some of the positions they have available. But we'll probably have a lot of resources. I know that's going to happen. Those are easy to schedule. So we're hoping to have some kind of career preparedness, depending on the interest, especially with resumes and job interviewing. Any other questions? Ruby, do you have a question?
Yes. What is the deadline for submitting those donations for the raffle?
Gosh, the night before would be great.
Okay.
Let's say March 5th.
All right.
Thanks. I'm glad you're interested. Any other ideas that you'd like to contribute to the fair? What would be helpful for our students? Yeah. Well, I'm trying to see. Ashley, I'm trying to see when she's going to jump in. I might go check on her real quick. If you'll give me about 10 seconds, I'll be right back.
John, what class are you teaching?
I'm doing a level 5. I've got 6 students.
Okay. What time are you there when I'm there? I don't even, who
You
knows? We're in
I'm-
different
I'm-
rooms, so it's hard to tell.
Yeah, right. I'm here 9 to 10:30 Monday and Wednesday. Have I got the days right? Yeah, Monday, Wednesday.
Monday, Wednesday for me, 10 to 11:30. So we,
Oh, you're there.
overlap a tad. Yeah. Okay.
I'm in room 5, right opposite the restrooms.
Okay. I'm in the middle, the center, everyone.
Oh,
the
nice.
Full room. Everyone can see.
Oh, I know the room you mean. Yeah.
I see old students, they come,
Oh,
they're all
that's
waving
fun.
that I had
Yeah.
from last year and year before. It's kind of funny. But anyway.
Yeah,
No.
I'd like to do more. We got 6, which is just about as much as the room can hold.
Mhm.
And Yin wanted to go in a different room, but I think it's a very cozy room. Put it that way. It's very nice.
Well, you're warm now. You won't like it later when it's getting hot, but you're
Oh,
good.
well, it'll probably be I think it's the AC is right there, so it's going to be
Oh.
really cold in the summer, I'm guessing. We'll find out soon. Yeah.
So Ashley will be with us in just a few minutes. I was wondering if there's any other challenges you wanted to talk about. It sounds like you guys are all the pros. Susan, do you have any challenges you're facing?
Let me see if I can get on here. Can you hear me or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. No, I went to the LACES training last week. And I am thinking that probably the next time you're going to need some help with that might be for attendance.
Oh, great.
Not sure, but I'm, kind of waiting to find out what Ashley would need some help with on that.
We do need help with attendance. I'm glad to hear
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Good. Sharon, do you have any challenges you want to share?
Not right now.
Nope.
You ready?
Yeah, sure.
So they are reading about Route 66. I'm gonna go to my computer so you can stay there. if you
Okay.
like.
I will.
All
right, she's on her way. Thanks, John.
Yeah.
All right, everyone, it's my turn. I'm glad you had a moment to speak with her and be able to just be familiar with another face. You have seen me lead these for a year, and we want to integrate the team more effectively. What we found, and this isn't something particularly new, as I shared earlier, what we found is you are aware that there's a team here, but you don't know who does what. And in the student handbook and the volunteer handbook, the information was outdated. Our office volunteer, long-term volunteer, Ms. Susan Cessna, took over the holiday period to look at our handbooks and assist us with updating it in a more effective, more clear and concise way. Super excited to have that available to everyone on Monday. Everything looks good in it. But I want to make sure that you know who does what and why. This is a simple breakdown, but we're going to make it even more simple and straight to the point. It will live in the hallways here in the Emily Court building, and we'll make sure that our outreach locations, as those are locations that we are connecting with more directly with individual shared storage files, that they know who to go to for what. This does not mean you can't just randomly ask a staff member a question and they look at you and say, that's not my pay grade, let me get the right person. We're not dismissing that. There's still humanity there, but you may have questions or needs that they may have some information, but not enough to best support you. So I'm going to turn this around. And again, as I said, this will be in those handbooks for you, but if you're a note taker, at least you have an opportunity to do so at this time. And I do have the chat open, so if anyone needs to type a question, if you don't feel comfortable interrupting, then by all means you can type it there. No big issue whatsoever. Okay, so the adult education coordinator, go figure, the phone rings as soon as I open my mouth. The adult education coordinator, real fancy smancy sounding indeed. That's the role that Ms. Franny assumes. The outreach coordinator or outreach manager, more specifically, role is no longer in existence. When we had that role, the implied expectation and responsibility was not looking at the forest for the trees. It asks a lot out of one person to do the work that 2 to 3 needed to do. And there wasn't a lot of opportunity to engage here at Emily Court with the main office students. So we needed to reevaluate this in a more effective way for whomever comes at any point in the organization's history. So the adult education coordinator is currently assumed by Franny. They are here full time. This is primarily focused on connecting with you all for instruction, classroom culture, and pedagogy. Big old fancy smashy word. For non-educators, pedagogy is how you educate young people. There is an actual word for navigating and teaching adults, but it's a little bit different when it comes to adult education when we're looking at ESL and citizenship and GED prep. Most of adult education at the community college or collegiate level, and even in some trade aspects, are looking for exterior motivations and intrinsic or internal ones that keep them going so that they can move themselves forward on their own. We don't always see that in this environment, as we do experience those who may never have been in formal learning in any capacity. So you are taking it from a younger approach. Our textbooks take that into consideration, regardless if it was ventures from previous years or current outreach locations or Challenger or Journey to Success. These series do take those things into consideration, and there's multiple tools that can be used to help further reinforce those needs. So she's able to connect with you in that way to say, well, what's working in your class? What's not? You might see her more often come by to visit your classrooms, not for judgment purposes, but for support. Hey, I'm using this and this technology keeps failing me. Hey, we're talking a lot about pronunciation, and although the book is nice, I need something with a little bit more meat and potatoes on it. The student is working well in math, but as soon as we get to integers, they completely lose it. Where do I go from here? You're able to connect with her in that capacity. It also provides instructional leadership and continuity across all programs. That ensures consistency in assessments, how we place people, and the student learning experience. This coordinator also teaches supports teaching quality and learner engagement through instructional oversight and workforce readiness workshops. Might not be the key facilitator, but certainly the person who is assisting in it. Case in point, Ms. Franny's first big project here as a new staff member is she is taking the job fair that we experienced last year and expanding it to a job and resource fair that will take place on Friday, March 6th from 9 a.m. until noon. And she's not only looking at jobs to be present, but trade programs or other resources, as well as incorporating the board members in doing mock interviews and resume reviews. So it's super exciting. And if that's something that you also have skills from your other life outside of the Literacy Council that you might want to incorporate, she'd be the person to contact. They collaborate closely with the adult education specialist, which I'll refer to next, but they report to my role, the program director. This is not a managerial role. Facilitating, delegating, and supporting the team, yes, but final execution comes from the program director. The adult education specialist is a part-time role. Currently, it is assumed by a former volunteer of ours, Ms. Nidra Brooks. She is doing this in a part-time capacity, and it's more so supporting tutors with reinforcing classroom initiatives. These students have been absent. Let me send you an email letting you know that we've heard from them. We are tracking absences more aggressively right now. We had a big drop-off. What's going on? Are they dropping off because they've gotten employment? Are they moving? Is the class schedule no longer beneficial for them? This allows us to create programming that can meet needs better when we have a person who is a greater touch point, involved in that. They'll work directly with tutors to model strategies in terms of, we're seeing an attendance issue, or I've got a student in my class and they were doing well, but they mentioned once that they're having a hard time at home, and then I haven't seen them in 3 weeks. That's able to provide you as the tutor with some guidance, some wraparound service suggestions to the particular students, and respond to instructional needs. I'm out of paper. I need books. Our students haven't seen them. Ashley said there was an order. I don't have an update. Being able to connect with someone who can give you an answer a little bit faster will help streamline how we communicate now, because you all have to wait until I have a moment. And if you're physically here in the building, you have seen me in a meeting, step out of a meeting, go to a classroom, come out of that, get online with you all, and then when this is done, go back to something else. I have mentioned it many, many times that I don't believe that's the most effective way to fuse a relationship with you all. So now there's a greater support system in place. Again, that role does not supervise or report to a coordinator. They report to me, working collaboratively across roles. You may even see this particular role out at outreach locations for enrollment and registration moments. The program specialist we know her as Miss Marvelin, but there are other program specialists as well. Their primary focus is student services, enrollment, making sure that these people have been contacted and confirmed that they're coming in, or we got an update, and a lot of retention. It is hard to resist Miss Marvelin. She's extremely good at this. It's hard work, and she's very consistent with it. This role serves as the main point of contact for students and volunteers during intake or enrollment and ongoing participation. I have heard her, based on some suggestions from other volunteers. One specifically said, when you are approaching our students, let them know that we miss them. Don't just call and say, we're contacting you because you've been absent. Hey, the Literacy Council, we miss you. We haven't seen your face. Is everything okay? I've heard her use that after that suggestion was provided to us, to maintain a sense of humanity. I am very black and white because of my role, but that is not the way that you approach the humans you're contacting who are trying to be students here or who are. She also assists with being proactive about our outreach efforts or documenting things and follow-up. One thing that she took care of today is we have another fundraiser coming up in February. We know it's on the calendar, but she made sure to print out all the flyers about it so we can spread it around the building and make sure to share it with students and things. They do assist with enrollment steps, maintaining the communication with the students and coordinating closely with the instructors to ensure students are appropriately placed and supported. We don't just say, well, this person is in your class, they have to stay. You know, through your interactions with your students, if it might be time for them to be progress test earlier, or if it might not be a good fit because the class level might be too difficult for them. She can be the person those messages are relayed to, and it gets passed around the program team to the proper person to do proper follow-up and assisting with moving that person. The program specialist / data lead, last year it was Miss Jeanette, this year it is Miss Christelle. Miss Jeanette has moved on to grants. The primary focus is data accuracy, making sure we're compliant for our grants and organizational sustainability. She is the one who's looking at the attendance QR. It's okay if you missed scanning it one day, you can come back in on your next class and scan and put the retroactive date. She's over the volunteer records. She assists me in creating you all's files and ensuring I have updated information in those. And everything has to align with funder and reporting requirements. The data lead identifies trends, flags issues, and supports retention and planning through data review and analysis. She looks at this thing every day, every week. She assists me and other parts of the operations of the organization with looking at areas. Attendance informs progress. If we see a student was coming and they've totally dropped off, she's going to see it first before I do, because she's looking at the data. You may have told me in passing or in an email, Ashley, I'm sending this message to you because I haven't seen student AG in 3 weeks and I'm a little worried. She will have also seen the attendance records with that. Now I can contact that person and say, we're reaching out because we haven't seen you in a while. Is everything okay? Oh yeah, it's fine. It's just, I can only stay for this day or something, so we can find a way to work that. We're also able to track absences a little bit better. If we're seeing people are regularly absent in a particular class, it might be more than just this class isn't the right level for me. It might be I have to change times. And if we can see enough of a trend for a particular level based on the data that she's looking at every single day, when our team has our bi-weekly meetings, she can bring that to me and say, Miss Ashley, we've got 14 people who are in ESL level 3 who suddenly this doesn't work. A perfect example of what Christelle does with data. I have a Monday, Wednesday class from 10 a.m. until 11:30 for ESL 3. It started at 7, and by the time December came, I had 14 students in the classroom that could fit about 8 comfortably. Based on her data and seeing how people were absent for my class, we were able to determine that we needed to make another ESL 3 class from 12:30 to 2 p.m. We were able to fix an actual problem instead of having a drop in our attendance, and our retention has a reporting thing based on the evidence of what you put for attendance. So she's super, super important, super serious role. And you will receive emails from her time to time regarding attendance. She reports directly to the program director. The administrative coordinator, we have had a few here. Ms. Kimmy was one of the most solid that we had, but we've had a few, and we are preparing to receive our newest, latest, and greatest. It's not just a front desk person. They are ensuring that we are keeping inventory up to date. They're making sure communication across both sides of the building is consistent. When rooms need to be reserved or used for board meetings or presentations and other things of the matter, they'll be the person contacting you saying, hey, your classroom 1, we have something that's happening at this time. Are you comfortable with ending your class 15 minutes early or leaving your class in that layout? We can fix it after you leave. They'll also help with student files, making sure that anything that needs an update, they can touch point on that first before it goes through all the different systems in here. They will be making sure that your rooms are reset. Now, we know during COVID, we were much more aware of it, of wiping tables down and whatnot, but our staff does do that. When it's slow like this, we run around the building and clean everything and make sure it's prepared for the next group. But they'll be doing that, particularly paying attention to the kitchen area here. Regularly, we have times where the coffee might get low and the staff, we all pitch in to do it, but this will be something they would own. They will be the first person here for opening, aside from me. I have heard you all make your jabs and jokes that say I live here. Yes, I do, but I won't live here as much once we get the other person here. And finally, the program director. This role is supposed to be responsible for the oversight and quality assurance and strategic alignment as it correlates to the mission of the organization. It doesn't mean that there's no humanity there, but my role is to ensure that all cylinders are firing correctly so that we move forward into whatever the new dynamic changes are that are announced every single week in our country. So we're serving our students as best as possible. I pre-screen volunteers. I do in-services both here as well as I go outreach to train and observe. I look at the functions of how we've done things historically, what still works and what is no longer realistic. Simple examples of this would be our website page where we had it broken down about programs. Last year, it used to just be some information. We took time last year to make the descriptions very concise and give time measurements of how long things might take. Another thing is we have an elective for grammar and writing, and most people didn't know. They just found out retroactively after enrollment. We made sure that that was put on the website. The greater example is that calendar. We were using the style that's similar to Fort Bend ISD, but I don't have children. I have no kids in ISD, so I can't read that. It's not me particularly who was impacted, but a lot of our students weren't comfortable navigating it. So with your feedback, their expressions of concern, and observations from what has effectively worked in terms of the calendars that people looked at on their phones and their regular use devices, we were able to redesign a calendar that's crisp, simple to read, easy to navigate, and it's one page for 1 month. Those are the type of things that I do. I also work on volunteer systems, making sure that you all know how to connect with one another. So it's not just I come in, I do my thing, and I go. For some of you, that might be more than enough. You might have another job. But for many of you, you're looking for a sense of community and not just feeling like you're in a silo as a volunteer. So trying to create more opportunities that you are able to connect with one another and learn from one another. I oversee all of the data, every single point of it, so that I can find ways to be more effective in using the grant money that we have, the funding that's been provided to us, the donations that are given to us, so they're easily accessible in ways that help all of us. The library, the ever-growing collection space of tools and resources, but we've been working for months relabeling, discarding, recycling, to make it very easy for you to go in and say, I need a copy of the Journey to Success PDF, and I'm not printing it. I mean, I can, but Do you have it? Yeah, the bookshelf right along the wall has 2 binders that have it. You can take one of them, and making sure that we put the information of what you checked out in our system. So when it's the end of our fiscal year, we can say that these are the type of things that were used. These are the things that we observed had an uptick. These are the type of trainings they needed with QR codes or with using the laptop so they could connect with their students in new ways. That's all data, not just attendance numbers. And retention. What can we do to make sure that volunteers are seen, heard, feel, and know that they are valued and respected? We have worked on my tone of communication and writing with everyone. Again, black and white don't work for something that comes from the heart. So volunteers have been kind enough to let me know, I know what you mean by this, but can we approach this a different way? The newsletter, it's a lot of information. Can we make it more concise where I know what's mandatory and voluntary? Doing things like that, taking your feedback and acting on it as quickly as we possibly can, shows you that you are heard and that you're not just here spending your time. You're a part of a huge ecosystem that we want to take very great care of. So this information, although it's broken down like this on here, will be very simple, very clear bullet lists when we put them in the building, so that if you ever want to reference it, it's there for you to know. It will be incorporated in the volunteer handbook, and the simplified version for what's relevant to the students will be in their student handbook. But I wanted to make sure that you knew first and initially. Any questions, comments, concerns, observations that you'd like to share?
Yeah, Ashley, this is John. So
Yes.
the volunteer handbook, is that, I'm not sure, I may have missed an email or a communication. Is that available yet? Or if it is, where do I find it? Or
You
when
will
will
see
we
it in Monday's newsletter, and where it will exist underneath the image of Emily Court's office. They always have a link that says view the 2025-2026 calendar, and the box underneath that used to have like random facts of the day or whatever. It will be a permanent link there to be able to reference that. The volunteer handbook is a PDF. It's available online, but we do on occasion have some who request to have it physically printed. Not an issue to print it out for you, but it will be available next week. We had to take last month and the early portion of this month to ensure it was updated.
And do you mean it's in Remind, or is it the website? And I'm not sure I know where the website is. I know
Not
that
the website. The website would be our ftbenliteracy.org. So you are familiar because you did an application on there, but this would be our newsletters that we send out twice monthly to all volunteers.
Yeah, I've seen, okay.
Yes, sir. So it's been omitted from there for several weeks because it needed to be redesigned. And I didn't want some of our very keen volunteers to point out it's still on there when it's not correct.
Okay, so I will be able to access it from the newsletter.
Yes, you will.
Okay, I'll wait for that then. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. And it'll be sent next week.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions, observations, concerns? Yes, Ms. Pam.
How'd you know? I guess I clicked my audio.
I taught a lot with Zoom.
Out of myself. Okay, so all right. So I'm thinking of basic general questions as a volunteer tutor that I might have, and figuring out who to go to with those questions. Is there a central person that I go to who will direct me to the right person, or do I need to figure out who I would ask if it's all, the descriptions are thorough. But I'm talking about just as a user of this, of the organization.
Basic general questions should go to the front desk people first. And they can let you know, oh, that sounds like that's something that Franny will be able to connect with you on, or Nidra. But you always want to go to those front 3 or front 2 first. Okay. Yes.
Okay. All right. That helps. Thank you.
Unless it's something absolutely severe and you're like, I got to pass this up the food chain, and you're like, Ash, I need you. You want to go with them first. Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course. These are great questions. I love good questions. Anyone else have anything? Good stuff. Good stuff. Let me tell. Oh, please go ahead, Mr. John.
We need to do attendance for this. Do we need to scan the QR code for this today? This session?
No, that sheet that you're looking at, that's for orientations when students come here for enrollment.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, no, I know who's here because you all pre-registered.
Oh, yeah.
So no, that's not too bad. We put the info in based on your registration. I need to tell you all about what we are seeing in the event you still know anyone who may have a heart for service, or you're looking at expanding or changing what you're volunteering for. We have an increased need for midday classes. I know many of you are involved in other activities, enjoying retirement, or juggling this alongside your regular work. That window of time from noon to 4 is severe. We are seeing a major uptick. We are connecting with some organizations in the community who are aligned with childcare, as it is not our mission. We will not have on-site childcare. It's just not in our scope, and we don't want to do anything that puts anyone in a space of liability. But they'll be coming rather frequently to share their information about their services, encourage parents to align with Head Start or get in the process of enrollment or drop in daycare services. But we have a lot of students who are looking for other activities such as book club or more writing practice, more workforce related. We have had Miss Christelle with us for over a year now, and she started with us as an AmeriCorps rep. We will have a new young man here. His location unfortunately lost their funding, so he is pivoting over here. We will have regular ongoing midday computer classes now. Currently, we only have twice in the evening and in a standing Friday class. We wanted to make sure that I have this information from him as soon as possible, so that there's a class for tutors in the event you're like, I really want to use this online stuff and I have no idea what to do. We've done workshops, but that's not sufficient enough. It's not helpful enough if you need someone looking at you, working with you at your pace. So having a standing time where you can connect with that young man and letting your students know it's other opportunities to take classes that prepare them for the workforce and whatnot. We are working on that. Yes, Miss Sharon. Hey, Miss Sharon.
Hey. Just want to put in my perennial request that to keep in mind Felicia's situation where she does not have a car, cannot drive to a class,
Yep.
and needs these trainings. She needs a math tutor. She needs the computer stuff. I can't do it.
Of course.
I don't know how to teach
remote
math
tutor for her too.
You want?
While we've been in this, he just sent the text message. I have a remote math tutor who can be of some support. So I'll connect with you out of this.
Okay.
But we have students who have transportation limitations. They have the gumption for this, but they have boundaries they can't navigate. And although we prioritize in-person learning, we do. Hybrid is still an opportunity. I taught 3 students remotely while I had a full in-person class last semester. Last night, Miss Jeanette, again, who used to be a volunteer, then she became our data lead.
Felicia was in that class.
She's in that class. Yeah, our grant writer. I watched all last night while she's, what do you think, Felicia? Then she went to the student. Are you on the right page? It was awesome. And she felt incorporated. We recorded it. And she didn't miss that the student was there. But for those who aren't used to that, and you still have some PTSD from when it was thrusted upon you during COVID, that takes some massaging to get into. You can't just have Ashley Bourgeon's black and white approach. You need a little bit more compassion in that learning. And we have tutors who are willing to show that. And soon we will have someone on site who will be able to support that. But if you know somebody, or you like, I've had my fun with this, but I do want to try something different. If you are intending on continuing, or if you have some flexible time, we can do a short class. It does not have to be a full academic year commitment. Maybe you just want to add it on for March and April, or April and May, and you just want to give it a little dabble of a sample because you're traveling during the summer. I am so strongly open to working with adapting things, because the schedules that we experienced in 2024, 2025 have been nothing like what we've seen this year. And they are changing on a semester per semester approach versus academic year per academic year, based on the data from the past 4 years. So I do want to make sure to share that. And then I'm going to stop rambling because you might have questions or thoughts before we conclude.
So I have a question about what you just said.
Yes.
Have they found that doing it on a semester by semester basis, you retain students better? I mean,
What we have found this year is going semester by semester and identifying what they're interested in and also what you all have as availability has allowed us to adjust the schedules differently. It's also cut down on as many interruptions of, oh, we got a student who wants to get added to your class and you've been with them for 4 months. It's worked very well to be able to have newer volunteers come in and observe what's going on and then get started 3 weeks after their orientation. So whole new students and groups can work with them. So it has been helpful. Mornings are still a tough one because most of the volunteers are comfortable with that 9 or 10 a.m. start. And a lot of our students are trying to maximize on getting as many classes as they can in one program as possible. So that's still something that's a little difficult to navigate. We're seeing also more people who can't necessarily do, both students and volunteers, who can't necessarily do twice weekly. They're able to do a 1 hour here and then 3 days later into the week, an hour and a half because schedules are weird. The Friday ESL 01 class has 22 students and it's 2 hours with 2 tutors because that was the only way we could make it work. We don't want to keep people on wait lists long. So that's what we're seeing now, but it doesn't look like anything my first year with you all. It was very different last year where we saw we just had more people who want to get out of evening classes during the first part because it gets dark. And then they want evening classes the second semester because it's light. This has been a wild experience this time.
I'm just thinking, I mean, I've had students who shifted, it's like maybe they tested out early to go to another level. Maybe I'm thinking I was against it. Okay. I'm going to admit I was against the change to go into semesters, but now that I've experienced what I have, I'm thinking, okay, maybe this allows for a little more flexibility with our students to be where they should be rather than anyway.
Yeah. I mean, hey, sometimes some things have to be firsthand experienced. And if it didn't impact you individually, you might have seen the forest for the trees, but it wasn't hitting your actual land. Now that you've seen it, you're like, oh, maybe. But I don't know if we have enough feedback yet to continue with that initiative fully. We've gotten enough feedback to know that, wow, my students are advancing quick, but that also aligns with their attendance. When they're there and they like you and they're coming regularly, we see them advance much faster. When it's sporadic, then they probably need to be with a tutor who isn't in a class for a long period of time. Workshop it psychologically for those who, how long is this? It's 16 weeks. If you tell them it's 8, they get a little bit more serious and then they're eager for the next thing. And it's just less disruptive for y'all because we bond with our students. All my students are older than me and I call them my babies, but I adore them. And some of them have left because they were ready to progress. And I got to be okay with that.
That was my big, the whole community development thing.
Absolutely.
Was a big part of what I was thinking, but I see it with a new light. So
yeah. I appreciate you being honest about, I wasn't for it at first, but I can see it differently now. Thank you for that. Yeah. Anyone else? Hi, Miss Nidra. She's in her office. How cool. If there are no additional things, we'll go ahead and conclude our time here. Next month is voluntary, of course. It's not mandatory, but I think we'll do a little bit more of it being as a training opportunity on some things. We've noticed some increased interest from tutors about the immigration process, citizenship, not necessarily wanting to be a citizenship instructor, but wanting to know how to navigate those conversations and share that information with interested students. Some of you have mentioned, we had opportunities during Thanksgiving break that you were interested in seeing what really takes place with an assessment and demoing that so you can experience it. So we want to make sure we have something that's nice and organized for next month, because it might be breakout sessions. You might, if you're coming in, you might go into a classroom and actually see how the placement test is scored and what we do. Some of you might be interested in some of the digital stuff. And if it's here on Zoom, then it'll be physical breakout sessions. We'll put you in breakout rooms so that you can learn what you're looking for. So we're trying, y'all, and you all have been so patient and so understanding. I know a lot of things got thrown at you very quickly once I started really getting my feet in my role, but I've been with you for 2 years now, so we're gonna keep on moving it ahead. I told you I wasn't going anywhere. I told y'all. So we're gonna make greatness happen. Yes, Miss Ruby, go ahead.
Sorry, I am out of touch with how to work this thing. Just a question for Miss Sharon. Miss Sharon, does Felicia know about the oh gosh, the transportation service that we have here in Fort Bend County?
Yes, she's tried to make it work. She's never been able to make it work. And
Do you know what
she's
her
also
challenges have
super-
been?
Well, when she called, they didn't have, it was like 2 weeks ahead of when she needed it, and they didn't have any room left on the schedule.
Oh, wow.
And they were
Wow.
vague on calling back. And I think she's very uncomfortable with it. So when on her first try, it didn't work. It just kind of solidified her idea that it's not her. It's not what she wants to do.
So it is true. It's a bit inconvenient. It's a little uncomfortable for people who are not used to using it, but it's very affordable. It's safe, and they do great work. And then not only that, but they're trying to identify more routes in Fort Bend County. And then there's a new transportation program through City of Sugar Land. So there are a couple of transportation options in the area. Maybe someone might need to call on her behalf to try to sign her up. But I mean, it's only 2 days out of the week that she would be using the transportation service, and you can schedule them for at least a month in advance. So like if they know that she's going to be a regular, and I mean, the transportation service stops right there in front of the building.
She lives up by Enchanted Forest. I really don't know. There's a lot that goes unsaid.
Sure, I understand.
So I really don't know, Ruby, but thank you.
Mm-hmm. And to pivot on that might be a good resource to have at the job fair for people that are needing transportation to get to work. So Fort Bend Transit might be willing to come and sit in and
That'd
host
be
a table.
awesome. That would
And
be
they can
awesome.
talk to people about some of the challenges and stuff that they're facing when it comes to scheduling those rides.
Because there's the mini buses that I've seen pull up outside here. I don't know what that is.
That
And
is,
Yes.
that's Fort Bend
it's an
Transit.
ad that she says it's only $2, and she's following when it arrives. It looks like Uber. She's tracking it on her phone, and she says
Yes.
just $2. I don't know what that is.
It's $1 one way, $1 back.
Is that right? Yeah. I mean, it sounds
Yes.
great.
And it's curb to curb service.
Yeah. Is that what you were talking about? Is that the service you were
Yes. Fort Bend Transit.
That's called Fort Bend Transit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the bus is what? That's separate?
It's the same thing. That's the bus. That's the only transportation service that we have here in Fort Bend County.
Okay.
Sugar Land has started a transportation service. I know that there's other transportation services in the area, like American Red Cross. It's for medical and for appointments, and maybe even for people that have disabilities where they need to use this transportation to get to their education services.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
Sorry, just thought I'd plug that in.
I really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
We have been riding around and around the world with it many times, but it might be time to revisit it or get some help going around the world
Mm-hmm.
again.
Yeah, and remind her again, there's some students that do use that service and they come and drop them off at their Literacy Council and pick them up. Glad I could
Thanks,
help.
Ruby.
You're welcome.
So from this point on, if you have additional thoughts, comments, concerns, you're more than welcome to send us an email. I am going to wrap up our time here. Mr. John, if you have additional questions, I'm going to pop in with you so I can address them. Ms. Sharon, you'll be CC'd on an email later today that's going to Ms. Felicia about, it took me forever, but thank you for your patience. We finally found something. Nice young man. And thank you all, always. I'm always excited to see y'all and hear from y'all when it's on here, because this is our time. There's no students interrupting. There's no phone ringing. So it's really exciting. Please stay warm and hydrated, and I will see you all soon. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Bye, y'all.
You.
Bye.
Bye.